excuse me, I hit my recording limit here on this software. But as I was saying, the researchers will run the models numerous amounts of times to get a ton of different results with each model. And that's what we like to call ensembles, which I located here. It's very hard. The ensemble models are so hard to tell, are extreme hard to read, and they don't go very far out, so it's hard to get a good idea of what's going on with these ensembles. So a lot of times we won't really look at these too much, except here you get a general idea. So if we're looking here, this dark shade of blue is basically anywhere Irma could possibly be located, with the darker colors being the more likely locations. Now, as you see here, it can be located on, next Sunday, anywhere in this general area. And as you can see, this is what I'm talking about. It could be located anywhere in here. That's why there's so much discrepancy and why there's so much uncertainty in where this is going. And this is also a big idea with this upper level high over here, because depending on where this high is, if this high is sitting where it's showing right now, if it were to be in this general area, anywhere over here, that would allow Irma to have a more westerly track and track more towards Florida, up through Georgia, and possibly South Carolina. If it sits more over here, in this general area, it would force it to stay more offshore, more over here, possibly more of a threat to North Carolina than anything else, but more ultimately probably staying offshore and maybe impacting the U.S. coast as maybe a post-tropical system, or maybe even still a tropical system up in Maine, but nowhere near as strong possibly as where it would have been. Now, as I say, the ensembles don't go as far out. You see Irma could be, like I said, anywhere in this blue region, which is why the discrepancy is there in all of the models. There's just nothing that really shows. And see, in this particular run, Irma could be absolutely anywhere in here. I mean, look how vast this region is. That's why this is a very tough storm to predict, because of all the factors that go into this. I mean, look how vast of a region this is. I mean, we're talking about you could fit Florida, Georgia, Alabama, South Carolina, North Carolina, all in this one area. And that's what makes it so tough. Now, as you can see, as it moves along, this particular version of the ensemble has generally coming up here. I don't know how accurate that is, but if we look at, if I can just go back to the GFS here. We just come here. I'll put priesthood moisture. I don't really need. This will probably be a better map to use because there won't be any snowfall. All right, we'll work with this. So basic. Don't worry about the soundings. Irma, if we pull the model forward here a little bit. Excuse me. What's going on here? Seem to have lost track of what I'm doing here. Okay, there we go. Alright, we're back. So anyway, as Irma moves up, it's generally agreed Irma is going to take a track generally into the Bahamas and up to about this point right here. After that's where, I guess, as I mentioned before, the discrepancies begin to occur, and there's not a lot of certainty in what's going to happen. Irma basically could be located anywhere, as the forecast shows, from basically where pathwise. I don't know if I can draw. I believe I can here. So we're going to draw. I'm going to screen sketch and draw here. I'm going to use blue because it's not on there. So the path of Irma comes up through here on this general location. That'll be a general center line. Right, want that. So we get rid of that. So Irma basically can come up anywhere from here to this point to here. Generally. Up to that point, it's going to stay along that general track. Now, when we get to here, this tends to happen with the models. This sort of very oblong action and where the storm can go begins to develop, which means the storm could go, this way, it could take off that way, it could come up this way. I mean, there's so much uncertainty in where this can go and how uncertain because of all the factors. We also have another upper level low that would be sitting, or actually not low, high pressure that'd be sitting over here. It's sitting off that way. And what that's going to do is either it's going to move off out of the region that way, or it'll remain in place. And if it remains in place, that would steer the storm more towards the US, but if it pulls off, it would pull the storm away. And this is why I really wanted to make a video detailing all of this, because of how complex everything is here. I mean, you see all the factors I've talked about going into, the high pressures, the low pressures, where the storm's going to go, and it's just the cold front that drops down. It's very, very hard to predict where this is going to go at all at this point, up besides the fact of it coming in up into here. Once it gets to there, before it gets to there, it's fairly set and certain where it's going to go. After that, discrepancies where it's going to happen. So based on that, I just want to make sure everyone, don't panic. Don't panic over this storm. There's no reason to, because we don't know where. We don't know where it's going to go, and I know everyone has Hurricane Harvey fresh in their minds and the destruction that it's wrought out in Texas, and the major severe flooding that's happened and everything that happened there, with a storm of similar probably power moving up into this area. I know everyone's going to be on edge, and it's possibly the worst thing you can possibly do, because the more you panic, the less certain you're going to be about decisions. You're more it's more prone to rash decisions, and I know most people probably don't think this way and are probably calm right now, and that's very good. We all dealt with Hurricane Matthew last year, and that was a very good learning experience for possibly what could happen here. I use possibly as a main word there because we still don't know, and basically the best thing you can do now is continue to watch the storm. Watch this page. I'll be updating everyone. I might start doing a daily video at the end of every day so I can detail everything that occurred throughout the day in result with Irma, where it's going to go, so I can keep you guys as detailed as possible. And if the best thing you can do now is start getting water, non-perishable food items. Know your evacuation zones. Look at your flood zones. Make sure you know all this information, because should come to worst, you're prepared and able to act when in a timely fashion. And should nothing happen, you were prepared. Should something else happen, this year, next year, 10 years down the road, you're prepared and know what to do. That's all from me tonight, guys. Look for my update tomorrow morning on Irma. I'll probably have the 8 o'clock update up on the page and on the Instagram page, Wicked Weather Jacks, by tomorrow morning. Just keep an eye, watch the Weather Channel. I recommend CBS 47 Action News Jacks. Mike Burrish and his team know exactly what they're talking about, so pay attention to them. And just, like I said, don't panic over this storm yet, guys. We don't know where it's going. It could have minimal effects here. Could have some significant effects here. We don't know. And with that, guys, I'll leave you for tonight. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.